it's something we haven't discussed yet, but it's something we'll be discussing at the March meeting.
Right. So you don't know how much you have in reserve.
We know how much we have in reserve, yes.
So could you answer that question, please?
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head, I'm sure the clerk can give us that figure.
That's fair, and my laptop does everything documents. Then when it's got the bank recon myself, but we had that one just now, so that'd be handy.
We have three lots of reserves. We have a set of reserves which are in fact have to be used to do with the churchyard. Well, that has to be used in that figure. That figure is £10,000. I know off the top of my head.
Yeah.
5,000 of that is already set aside for repairs to the churchyard wall. We have a figure of 64,500 in a legacy reserves, which again can't just be used for general parish council purposes. That's in the Hale legacy. Some of that money has also been designated. We have.
So I've got the figures. Do you want? Have you got them?
Yes, we have around 40,000 in general reserves.
Just clarify, what did you say, the 64.5, that was,
That's to do with the legacy.
and that can only be used for what?
It can be used by the parish council for purposes around the parish.
Oh, so something you
So
could,
it could be
Yes.
used. It could be used.
Yeah.
But this is not a discussion the council has yet had.
no, right, okay.
A discussion the council will be.
No, I was just interested to know, because obviously it's a lot of money,
It's a lot of money,
and it's going to take a lot of fundraising.
and in fact, I'm sure later on Tim or Jane will be reporting back on a meeting they've had and some fundraising they've been doing already.
Yeah.
So there is progress on that already.
So I just wondered if the council would be prepared to put half of the money towards it or something.
I'm sure the council will be prepared to put something towards it, but the amount I can't stipulate, and that's something for the council to discuss and agree.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
David just wants to ask something.
Hello. Excuse me, I'm very deaf at the moment. It's hopefully temporary, but really quite deaf. I can't hear anything that's going on. So perhaps you'd be kind enough to excuse me when this section's been over. I literally can't hear what's going on. I've come with my neighbour, and she can tell me about your reply. But my name's Trevor Jones. I've lived in the village for 35 years now. Yeah, 1987. I had my house built at Forthey. And on the other side of the lane, there are some trees, a verge, which I believe Tim Andrews, one of the councillors, is responsible for the trees as he owns the land. And I just wanted to register my concern that one of the trees, and I've got a photograph here if it helps anybody, I can pass this around, has been left. I think there are reasons why it's been left. But nevertheless, no date has been given to have the tree taken down, and you'll notice that the tree's got a considerable lean to it. It's also got branches on one side of the tree only, and these heavy limbs concentrically load the tree, and it's leaning towards my house. If it falls, it crash my house. So, of course, I'm very concerned about this, and Tim has indicated that it will be taken down. Which I do very much appreciate, and I'm also very grateful that the other trees have been removed. But I'd just like to register my concern that that tree actually does come down, because I think if we have another big storm, there is a real risk. I think it leans over 5 degrees, which means normally practice being when the trees are in dangerous state.
Jim, is that something you, I mean, is this an issue you've discussed between you?
Yes, there's been an email exchange that's happened over the last couple of days. So the tree that was left, it was left because there's a BT open reach wire that goes through the tree. It's taken about a year and a half, to be quite honest, to organise Western Power to come out and coordinate dates and things. They've been out several times. There's already been a shutdown once. They had to take the wire down so we could take down a tree that had ash dieback. And so it is a tree that's due to come down. Because of the BT wire, we weren't able to do it on that day. Since then, we've had quite a bit of rain, which has made the field really quite muddy. So the intention is that tree is going to come down. I was hoping I'd be able to do it, some of it this weekend, but I wasn't able to. It's going to have to be next weekend or the weekend after.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, his concern was exactly when, because he's really concerned about it. If you can give, say, in 2 weeks' time, it will be done, then he would be happy.
Yeah.
We can have an exact date, because his problem is what he's saying is people promise and then it gets not done.
So in terms of the date, it depends on the weather, and that's quite difficult. But it's certainly my intention not to leave it like that at all. It's just a question of timing.
Okay,
Thank you.
you want to take that?
Yes,
So this is a matter
next
between,
weekend.
this is a matter between the parties?
Next weekend.
Lovely, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, please? Any other issues for the council? Okay, well, that's it. We move on then to item 5. Thank you. There's reports from the district councillors. I've had a report from district councillors. It's a joint report between the 3 district councillors. Is councillor, the other councillor with us tonight or not?
Jordan, I don't know where it is, to be honest. Yeah.
Will you present his apologies?
Yes, I'd like to please.
Okay, thank you. So we've had
It's quite difficult in Marshall, actually recognising people from the.
I find it difficult speaking, actually.
Yeah. Thank you.
So we've had a district councillor's report. There are a couple of things I wanted to raise on that, please, if I may. Is there any update on the damaged property in Tyndall Close? Has that been resolved now?
I haven't seen a report on that, but we did request a report, but
No, I've not done it.
we'll follow up this week and see if we're waiting for the housing officers
Okay.
to let us know how it's been resolved.
Something was happening there today. I don't know.
Was it? All right.
There's a little van, works van outside.
Okay. And what about the resident? Is she all right?
Yeah, she's been looked after.
Okay, that's fine.
By our officers and county council, social services. I believe she is okay now. The small injury she had. And I know we were, as Councillor Braun has said, we haven't had any full details on it yet. And there'll obviously be something we can't actually discuss.
No, that's
So
fine.
we know that Shaftesbury Council and some of their contractors have been working in there over the last 2 weeks just to make sure it's safe and there's some redecoration going on. So we'll see if we hear any more.
And Councillor Tucker, you brought to the council's attention that there's been somebody had been approached by a bogus SDC officer. Is that developed any more that you're aware of, or?
I was talking to the PCSO on Friday, not on the specific topic, that it would have been something they would have raised with me had there been any further incidents. So hopefully it's just a one-off. But we just need to make our old folks, like me, very aware of these scams that are going on all the time.
Absolutely.
Councillor Braun was nodding her head, and I'm not sure she was agreeing with my sentiments, or I don't know.
It was interesting to note that the incident was noted in other parishes. Now the 10 council, for instance, was used as a way of warning other people, which is very useful thing to do, Ken.
So those members of the public who aren't aware of what we're talking about, there was somebody approached to Council House 10, somewhere in the parish, I don't know who it was, and that's not the issue, but this particular person who approached was challenged about his identification. He wasn't able to present any identification. In fact, he wasn't admitted to the house. But if anybody knows anybody else in the village in that situation, you might want to pass on that message and just give them some warning that there's someone around who's totally bogus. And it's one of those incidents where people need to be challenged as to their identity. Sorry to hold all the questions, but I want to ask one further question from my Councillor Tucker or Councillor Vaughan, whichever. I'll find it. Why do I deal better than paper?
I think we all do.
Sorry?
I think we all do. Cheesy.
Yeah, I know. There was something, here we are, the establishment of the Development Management Advisory Panel. Can I ask you, I mean, I don't know which of you is in a position to answer this, but does this new panel which has been set up, which will be working with the DCC, does this actually, how will this impact upon existing enforcement orders in this parish?
Well, sign up at all. The DCC will continue as it always has, and there may be some differences in the future, but the existing operation, as far as I know, relating to those three topics will continue unabated.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry, I've got all the questions. I think other councillors have questions for district councillors.
Yeah.
Well, can I thank you all for your report, very comprehensive as ever, and the clerk will be putting it on the parish council website.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just to mention,
Sorry.
there is some grant funding left available, which the district council is looking to spend to support businesses who might have been affected by COVID and Omicron. And the deadline for that is Friday. I think if there aren't sufficient businesses putting applications, the money has to be returned to central government. So if you could possibly help with finding businesses who might have been suffering under COVID restrictions.
What about the hub, John?
Not me anymore, but I doubt it. I think it'd be hard to justify it.
Okay.
What are the qualifications for it?
There's a whole list of possible criteria, and I think that the last criteria is and anyone else. So broad.
Right.
But yeah.
It was intended to cover, Chair, groups or businesses that didn't get the grants last year.
Right.
So there's some small hospitality groups or people doing shoots and things like that, or sporting activities.
Would that affect public houses? Or did they get grants?
The public houses got a lot.
Yeah, they got that grant.
There is
Yeah,
a hospitality one there.
B&Bs and things.
yeah, B&B, yeah. It was extended last time, but not particularly this tranche. Because some of the people that did lose out quite badly were taxi drivers, and they weren't included in the government's list. But we had a small pot left over in Stroud, and we extended it to them because a lot of them have actually ceased training now to keep some of them going. I think 40% of the licenses from the year before last have not been renewed. Like serious people will there. A small amount of money did go to that.
We'll put something on.
Yeah, Catherine, would you be able to send me the link and I'll pop it on our Facebook page?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. The deadline is Friday this week.
Yes, 4 p.m.
All the money goes back to the central government.
It's not.
We'll find some ways.
Okay. Sorry,
Party.
thank you very much for your report. Written report from Councillor Cullen. County Councillor. Thank you very much for your report. Any questions, Mr. Walker? I was going to ask you to progress on the 20-mile-an-hour, the monitoring we did along the last meeting. I think we were still going to talk to highways representative.
I think there is very little that can be done at the moment, but I'm optimistic that if the county council change their mind about 20 miles per hour, then something might be done. And I think we need to, I hate to say that it involves safety, just hang on a bit, but it's gone to the scrutiny committee, and let's just wait and see what happens. Because I think they've realised, we were having, Catherine and I had this conversation a minute ago, some of the Conservative councillors are finding that having voted for it to go to scrutiny, it's coming back to bite them. And actually they need it to be back on the table again. So I think you can bear it. We've got our next county council meeting in a couple of weeks' time, and I think that will be very telling. I can report back on that meeting, and then it might make our lives a little easier.
Thank you. That's good. Good. And we've asked whether it's possible to have a highways presence at the, sorry, I'm slightly preempting the later item here, but what's Councillor Cummins here, because I don't know whether.
Yeah, so that I did respond later.
Yeah.
I came back today and said, yes, that's fine. I'll make sure that somebody is there to present the plans.
Can I just share with you, Councillor, what my thinking is behind that?
Yeah.
In all my years of dealing with the parish council, dealing with highways, the answer we usually get to a question is, well, have there been any accidents? It almost seems to be coming at it from the wrong end. And I think as a local person, I find it very difficult explaining to people why things can't happen. And certainly explaining that we're waiting for accidents to happen before they can happen. So I think it would be very useful if someone from the highways was able to come along and respond to issues such as where we are on ANPR.
Yeah.
I know that's perhaps a police issue now. What we can do about speed limits along the street, whether we can do something like or do with speed bumps on a B road. Why can't we do that in Gloucestershire? I'm not saying that's an answer, but it's a possible solution.
Yeah.
And it'd be useful, I think, to hear from highways
Absolutely.
direct on that one.
Why can't we have a 50 mile an hour speed limit on the B406 right through? I mean, there are plenty of other places locally where 40 or 50 miles, and that's been refused previously. Our previous county council seemed to wipe it out completely. I don't know how to visit it.
No, but if you notice, if you go to Yacht, there's like a new building development on the
That's
left.
Wickmore. But that's South Gloucestershire, sorry.
Yeah.
So I think, Councillor, that was my thinking behind asking highways.
I think that's right. But I also think as well, that's obviously in terms of traffic calming. But when we come on to potholes et al., then I think we have to have a new approach to this. And we've got to stop this piecemeal that we want a bit of this and a bit of that. They are on the mind at the moment to have a much more grown-up conversation, which is why I have suggested that we actually get round the table, look at what we want to achieve, have a proper plan. That's coming out on the 16th of April. That seems a sensible time for us to walk again. Obviously, we did that with Paul, but this is an opportunity to walk all the areas that we've got that are concerned. It also means that where there are things that are not deemed to meet their criteria, I can pay for certain things to happen as part of the bigger scheme of work. Then everybody is happy. But what we can't keep happening are these constant demands for little bits. It doesn't achieve anything.
No.
We need some big things that are actually, this is an initiative, this is what we're trying to achieve, and to do that and do it properly, while the money's in the pot, while things are still open to negotiation, and before everybody else gets their hands and stuff.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, I've been a parishioner, not quite a parishioner, but for most of my life. And for at least 20 years, if not more, the road called Warren Hill, towards the bottoms, up onto the road that takes you through was a terrible, terrible state. And 8 or 9 or 10 years ago, the county council bit the job and tarmacked it from bottom to top. It's still in excellent condition, and it's a classic example of where a job done once properly will last, and that's exactly what we need in several places in our parish.
There are potholes that have been filled in the last 6 months that are now in need of doing again.
Road green is already bad.
Yeah, and so it's pointless, it's good money on that, so people are gonna, if we can have a conversation, I think we need to consult with people, so that everybody feels they need to be, and that people have to really understand this conversation, we have to understand the parameters and how little money there is generally available, because there are strange circumstances, and we are putting pressure, the Lib Dems are putting pressure on the Conservatives to release some money that is sitting there in certain reserve pots, which might actually help to put some more funding into highways.
Well, thanks for that, we welcome that. So at some stage, councillor, perhaps you need a discussion with us about what we see as the priorities and the.
Absolutely, and we need to agree who's going to turn that meeting up on the 16th.
Can I add something to that? There's a failure to clear drains.
Yeah.
And that means that water runs down roads where it should be going down drains, and that makes the problem even worse.
Absolutely.
If they cleared the drains regularly, because some of these drains have not been cleared in 10 years, or maybe more, 20 years.
So that's something that we could build in, so, you know, we can have that sort of work built in as a routine part of the maintenance, and we put the funds in and say this is what needs to happen. You know, this number of times a year, so that's all part of it, you're absolutely right.
Thank you, councillor. Thank you for your report. Penny, sorry.
So when can we?
Sorry, can I just remind you? Thank you.
Were you going to raise the,
Sorry?
were you going to raise the post box that will be got in the council?
Yeah,
Or later?
Sorry, are you, I know sometimes you have to go to other meetings, councillor Garner, are you?
I don't have another meeting to go to.
Right, well.
If you want to discuss it earlier in the meeting, so like, give them just another one.
Yeah.
Right, let me raise the issue now.
Ready or no?
Yeah, this is where we may require help. It's nothing to do with highways this time, you'd be pleased to know. A parishioner's contacted me in the last 24 hours to point out that there's a post box in Waterley Bottom, which the post office are now planning to move. The background to this is that the post office, in their wisdom, when they recited the post box, they recited it in a gateway of a field. And the landowner, in fact, needs access to that field. So he contacted the post office, asked and put forward some suggestions as to where it could be recited, and he even offered to recite it for them, but that wasn't permissible. Post office reaction now is they're going to remove it. They've actually put a notice on the post box to say it's been removed in 30 days. And this is a post box which is actually, I understand, used by parishioners in that part of the parish. And it seems to me for the post office to actually say they're now going to take it away because they can't think of a better solution is not the way forward. Now, the parish council, I'm going to suggest the parish council actually writes to the post office about this. But could we also ask for your assistance on this one, please? I'm not sure whether it's a district or a county issue.
Another post box, yeah. Although it's really quite difficult to get a response from Royal Mail. The best way I found is to tweet, because they then seem to have somebody on a Twitter help desk that responds quickly. They don't respond quickly to emails. I've been through the 4-stage complaints process where they removed the post office in Stinchcombe up to the ombudsman with no, and to the MP with no success. They've removed the post box in Wootton, and they said it was broken, they were going to replace it. A year later, it's still not being put back. you know, is this kind of process that they have of trying to remove post boxes to save money under the guise of repairing them, and then they never come back, or saying that they're badly sighted and being knocked over, the excuse they have in syndicate when there's no proof forms. So it's really difficult, but certainly happy to raise it, start to look.
Well, if we can ask your support on this,
Yeah,
and you're suggesting we use Twitter,
yeah, I mean, I'll tweet it. You can get a photo of the post box.
I've got a photo of the post box, yes. I've even got a photo of the map.
We might need a petition.
As a campaign, I can set up the campaign if you like.
Do you think there would be
Yeah.
any point also involving our MP on this one? Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yes, I think you involve everybody you can, don't you?
Okay. Well, if we may, I'll send you the material I've got later on, after the meeting.
Is there any documentation or any letters or any?
Yeah, there are emails between the landowner and Royal Mail.
Oh, brilliant, so can you copy?
I'll copy you the lot, yes.
And to all of us, I think.
I'll do that, yes.
I think, Chairman, it's worth stressing that there is a piece of land adjoining where it could easily be sited.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
they're finding reasons for not doing it.
yeah. Their excuse for not reciting it there is because it's on a bank of land. Well, in fact, originally it was on originally it was on a telegraph pole. They recited it from the telegraph pole and put it on a freestanding post, which is now in a gateway. But it could be recited on the other side of the gateway. And the point is, it is, as I understand, I don't live in that part of the parish, but I understand it's a post box which is used. So it's not, and the newest one is in Pickport from there.
I can certainly confirm that it's used like that.
Okay. Sorry, Councillor.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I can help as well, along with Councillor Rowe, managed to get one of the ones reinstated back with syndicate, which is not further, was going to be left out. I have a computer program that calculates the requirements, at least the Ofcom regulations of how many people live within such a distance
Okay.
of the nearest other phone post boxes. I'll do the calculation for this and I'll forward it to Councillor going.
Okay, well, I'll send you all the stuff I've got. I think I've got sufficient for you to work on. Thank you very much.
Very posh then, well done.
Sorry,
But it certainly worked in syndicate.
sorry, you wanted to say something?
Well, just one point on the post box, as a local person who walks around there. The only reason I can see that the post box is now in the gateway, because the gateway has been doubled in width.
Yeah, originally the post box was actually on the telegraph pole.
Yeah, it was on, it used to be a 12-foot gate, a single gate, and the post box, as you look at it, was on the right-hand side.
Well,
It is now a double gate, so the post box is now in the middle. That's just a comment walking by.
okay,
So there may, yeah, I don't know.
but do we want to lose the post boxes?
No, not at all. All I'm saying is, it's not because it's in the way of the gateway, it's because the gateway was made twice as wide.
It's in the middle of the gateway. It's in the middle of the gateway.
Yeah, because the
Even though the
gateway is
gateway
now,
might be widened, the original gateway, it was in the middle.
Right, anyway, the point is we don't want to lose the post
no,
box.
not at all.
No.
Not at all.
Right, so thank you, councillors, for your help on that one. Thank you for your reports. Moving on then to item 6. Very brief update on the Parish.
I don't mind. So, I mean, we've, what have we done? We met, the three of us, and we have got an article into On the Edge.
And we have flyers produced.
Flyers are ready to go. I've been and knocked on all the doors of Lower House Lane and invited them to come along to the meeting, or if they can't, to submit their thoughts. And they were really appreciative of that. So that was really good. So, yeah, I mean, they're certainly keen to, voice there's a range of opinions so far, but they'd like to know more.
Yeah.
Really, so it was the right thing. I'm really pleased we did that. We've got another meeting coming up as well. Yeah, this Wednesday, isn't it?
I went and had a meeting with Alison Beer, who is Wilson Village, who's very, very good at filling in grant applications, and as a result of that, filled in the recent grant application, which who was that? Linda or Catherine? Anyway,
Was that the district council?
yeah. And we'll be result of that on the 28th of March. Alison then sent us an email with some other ideas for funding, which weren't open, but now back are open. So when I get some time, hopefully at the end of this week, I'm going to do some more applying for some grants. So, yeah.
Yeah.
All heading in the right direction.
She's given us lots of ideas as to places we can apply for.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, she was really good.
Yeah.
And presumably we've got some posters we're going to put up around the village.
We will
near the
have.
meeting.
Yes.
Yeah, we haven't yet, but we will do.
No, it's too soon, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've got a meeting on Wednesday, haven't we?
Wednesday, yeah. So I think probably on Wednesday we'll finalise those sorts of bits and pieces.
Oh,
Sorry, are you signed up to BCS Alliance email, which will give you details of all the grants that are open and available? If not, I'll send you the link.
Yes,
That will
please.
give you everything you could possibly.
if I didn't have a mask on, you would see a blank page. So,
And that will mean you don't have it, so that's.
that means exactly that, yeah.
Yeah, because there is one, and also moving to Gloucester Community Fund.
But the landfill.
So the Magnox one is good.
I've got, yeah,
Yeah.
there's a link to that.
It's done,
today,
well, we
yeah.
haven't applied, but I've sent the link to that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll send you this link, and then
Yeah.
it'll give you reams and reams of things, and you can go through it if that isn't appropriate, but
Yeah.
you'll be surprised, there are a lot of little bits and pieces where you can point quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Amounts, and then, even if it's 1,000 here and 1,000 there, they can.
No, that's
put the
lovely.
amount up.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
as Catherine's already indicated, it's quite a lot of money kicking around that has to be used up at the moment, so in terms of sort of COVID recovery,
Yeah,
so have a look for that.
yeah.
Make it into handles.
No. But unfortunately, all the government money that's come in for those projects does have to be spent on things, so it has to be spent by a certain deadline, it's hideous the way it does.
it's public, it's way public.
It's a complete waste of public money,
Yeah,
there's
it
so
is.
much of it that's come sluicing in, and it hasn't been won't be spent.
Okay, any questions about, we've got a meeting, public meeting set for, is it 7th of March?
Second, isn't it?
2nd of
Yeah.
March.
Yeah.
7 o'clock.
So,
Yeah.
put the word around, please, councillor.
Could councillor send that invitation to your local councillors as well? Because it might be just
Of
to
course.
come along listening.
Yeah.
supporting.
I will,
Okay, thank you very much.
thank you.
Just quite often, sorry, that on a lot of applications, it does say, have you involved with district and county
Yeah.
councils on there? And I know for a fact that some of the round we got recently, that's quite an important factor, city was a big factor, that having support for people in your community who represent you is.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, I will do, thank you.
Move on to item 7, to note the following decision on planning applications. Planning application, I think we considered the last meeting, the erection of a single-storey extension and associated landscaping work at Netherfields in Frog Lane, that's been permitted. The only planning issue tonight. Item 8, to further discuss the possibility of recording electronically sharing public meetings. I know, Monday you will have an update with us on this, you sent something out.
Yeah, rather than we go through it, and so they just sent it all out in advance, you'll have a chance to read through where I'm at so far. I've also had conversations since I sent that report. I've had a conversation with a really helpful man from Audio, based in Stroud, and he has suggested that we probably might be able to get set up for 400 to 500 pounds using the way that we're doing it on Zoom and then maybe up to YouTube, just to have the mics, which seems to be the biggest issue. So this camera, I'll pick up the councillor Andrews about the cost of this camera that we're currently using, but that seems to do the job. It's just the sound that everybody is feeding back that nobody can hear, which obviously these don't help. But yes, we've got a couple of options to explore and look into. Look back in March.
Okay.
We'll get some quotes.
And it will be on the agenda in March for us to make a decision as to how, if indeed we're going to go ahead, and if we are going to go ahead, how we're going to go ahead.
Can I just thank Mandy for what she's done so far?
Yeah, thanks, Mandy. Got that, many thanks. Didn't see fingers come up. Thank you, Mandy. The next item on the agenda is also linked to the same matter. So in fact, we're not tonight going to review and approve the social media policy because two things are linked. Item 8 and item 9 are linked together to a degree. But you will see today, very late today, I sent you out an updated version of the social media policy. I hope I've taken on board all your comments in there. There's some red ink on it still. That's for discussion in March. But that's where that particular policy document is at the moment. So it's still in draft. And I've sent it to you today because I thought if I didn't send it today, I might forget. So that's not for discussion tonight. Yes.
Just a few typos on it.
I'm sure there are.
I read a piece of paper with my scribble.
All right, thank you. Thanks. Right, typing was never my forte.
That's not here.
Thank you, David, thanks for that. So moving on then to the annual parish meeting. Now, just so we've got some clarification, because I think so it's the funny term annual parish meeting. It's not the annual meeting of a parish council. It's actually a public meeting. It's the parish host, to which we try and get as many parishioners as possible to attend. And in order to do that, we've tried over the years to do various things, include various matters of interest. So far on this, potentially on this year's agenda, we'll talk about the date and location in a minute, on forum issues. Mandy's already secured a full presentation. You'll remember that the chapel did one 3 years ago, Dave?
Yeah.
Which was very interesting. I thought very successful. It was actually about how people avoid things like strangers knocking on doors, for example, or IT theft. That has already been secured. That's a half-an-hour presentation. We've got to invite highways, so that's very much on the agenda. Looking at the neighbourhood development plan, I think they had there. My suggestion, and this is for council to agree or not, is that we need to involve GRCC, that's the Gloucestershire Rural Council.
Please.
Yeah. And Barbara Pond from there. We now know that before we can deal with the officer at Stroud, we have to go through Barbara Pond. Barbara, I believe, was offered to help.
Yeah.
The question's been asked of whether this is a meeting with council or whether it's a public meeting. It could be either, but my own view is that as we need to get public engagement into NDP, why don't we ask Barbara to come to the meeting if she's able and to talk about NDP there? that would be another way of trying to engage parishioners in NDP, if we're going to get sufficient volunteers. Now, can I just draw breath there?
No, I agree.
Is that,
Yeah,
Good idea, good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you all happy with that?
yeah,
yeah, very.
yeah.
Because I think if we have do a meeting, private meeting with the parish council, we then have to report back. Okay. We've invited, remember a parishioner came to the last meeting and asked about the future of the Black Horse. We have invited Stonegate to attend. Whether they will or not, we wait and see. We're waiting for an answer on that one. We have the usual grants, and grants are being published. I think we've sent application forms already out to previous grant applicants. So we'll have our usual grants published. Is there any developments on the play area? Bearing in mind that will be a month after the public meeting, we can give an update on that. Now those are the, yeah, I'm going through. Those are the items I thought that might capture people's imagination. Because there's no point having an annual parish meeting if the public don't attend. It becomes a waste of everyone's time and resources. Does that sound like, it sounds to me like a pretty full agenda if everybody says yes.
Well, there's enough there,
Yeah.
parishioners to get interested.
Yeah, so that should get in a range of interest in there. So what I'm going to suggest is we also have councillors' reports. Now, going back many years, we decided we wouldn't have councillors sitting reading the reports to the public because that tends to bore everybody, including the person reading them usually. And in fact, I'm going to suggest this year we don't have a chairman reading my report. That's usually a 20-25 minute. I'm trying to think of the appropriate word. But I don't think it actually will engage people, put it like that. Okay, so I'm going to suggest what we do is we post councillors' reports around the walls as we've done previously. If the public wish to read them, they can. But the chairman's report, which normally goes out with on the edge in any case, and Clark can put it on the website as well. Does that sound like
The only comment I'd make, Chairman, is that I think it's a good review of what the parish council has done during the 12 months. What it's looking forward to doing. So I don't know that it can be shortened just to cover those issues.
Perhaps I could briefly say what we're looking to do in the year ahead then.
Yeah.
And link that in with the budget,
Yeah.
which will also be brief.
Yeah.
That perhaps the way I am. Okay, thank you for that. And as Maggie just reminded me, I haven't forgotten, it's on the list. One issue we do need to resolve is we've agreed as a council we want to do a jubilee tree.
Yeah.
We've agreed we want to put a jubilee tree somewhere in the recreation field. But what we haven't done yet, and we haven't liaised with the recreation field trust about that. David, is that something you could set in motion, please?
Yeah.
Because I think it's important we engage them as to where that tree goes.
Yeah. It's also relevant in relation to the proposed playground as well.
Indeed, yes,
So
yes,
they do need to be looked at together.
they do indeed.
Do we think also about having a bench next to the tree? So I thought that was part of the conversation that we had.
I don't know, I just remember the tree, but I don't remember the bench. I'm not saying we didn't discuss a bench.
We need a bench with the playground, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
Presumably there's no particular time, I mean, the tree doesn't have to be planted on the 6th of June, for instance, does it?
No, I don't know much about tree planting, to be
No.
honest with you, so I don't
Well,
know
we
somebody
could-
who knows about tree planting.
Well, we could ask, we could ask Tom from Mount Pleasant Trees, he's planted
Yeah.
the village Christmas tree or whatever you want to call it, so we could ask his opinion, but I've just got a question, and when we plant it, I think,
In the winter is the best time.
yes, indeed, of course it is, yes, I realise that.
Shall I revisit that email to see if there's anything on there about when?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether other parishes are gonna do love planting tree, that I presume is during the whole year, I assume.
Yeah, so, I mean, certainly we could still plant in June or whenever, but then it wouldn't be a bare root.
No,
So
absolutely,
it would be a potted one.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I know that Tom's father does semi-mature trees, but, you know, we're removing some loads of money. but it's,
Then we talked about planting an oak, when we discussed this at the meeting
Yeah,
2 months ago, I think it was. Somebody's offered me for this purpose, wasn't a sycamore, definitely not a sycamore.
what an ash was it?
No, it wasn't. A flowering chestnut. I don't know whether that's an alternative or not. It's a thought.
yeah,
But we need to take some advice on it. We need to try and move it forward. I think the first thing is we need to have a discussion with the recreation trust.
Yeah.
In case, then move on from there. So the meeting, the annual parish meeting, as I said, it's not a parish council meeting, it's an annual parish meeting. It's the date of what? Monday, the
April.
6th of April.
Everybody is happy to embrace it.
We all happy with that? It's a Wednesday.
Wednesday.
It's Wednesday.
So it's the Wednesday after our April meeting, so we would have our normal.
All parish meetings on the Monday. Yeah. So the 2 meetings are originally.
Okay.
But I don't think there's any point trying to squeeze the two into one
No,
month.
definitely, because that's a full agenda you just put forward.
Hopefully it's an agenda which will attract people's attention and get people along. So I would suggest 7 o'clock meeting.
Yeah.
Is that the best time?
Yeah.
So we'll publish that as well, put publicity around about that. Okay, thank you. Anybody else got any comments on that particular meeting? Otherwise, I stole all the thunder on that. Okay, moving on then to item 11, parish council finances. Right, we've got an appendix one. Yeah. We've got some payments to make. The hire of the village hall. We have a bill for £38.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Do we agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. We need to pay, Mandy has now purchased on David's advice a new laptop. This one is. It was good 10 years ago, but it don't last 10 years. So this has been replaced and you bought one for £249.
£2,499 plus that.
Plus that. So it will cost us £249.99 and the £50 VAT on there we will get back eventually. So is everybody happy to
Yes.
support that?
Yes.
Very much. Thank you very much. The third item is monthly salary, which is 47784. Happy to pay for that? Otherwise it's going to go on strike. Thank you very much.
Joking aside, that's just been built, that people's gone strike. We're still waiting for the salary increases from what the council employees would have had April last 21. And yeah, the unions are fighting to strike actually. Don't know, I won't do it to you, and I'm not member of the unions.
Okay, do we have any payments in?
Yes. Previous check for, the amounts go out, it's normally like. It's normally very.
Thank you. We have a waiting payment, which is from, people who are post somewhere, which is stopping up. Just note that.
Yeah.
So we'll put that in.
I'll pop it in a minute.
Put that in minutes.
It's a little of mine, I can't remember.
It's 4 months something. Next item is item 11C, which is to review and approve the asset list. Now, the reason why this is on the agenda, we did actually do this last time, but Mandy can explain why.
We couldn't decide whether the pavilion was ours or not. So we need to add the pavilion to our asset plan, our asset list, and we were happy to agree that.
Yeah.
I think logic tells me as the playing field belongs to the parish council, and the pavilion is on the playing field,
And we took a loan on it.
And we paid the loan.
We paid the loan.
which is paid for about half of it, but the fact is it's on parish council land, it must therefore be our property, so it must therefore be an asset.
Yeah.
Which, hopefully under the lease with the Recreation Field Trust, they're responsible for ensuring and upkeep.
They're certainly, from my memory, responsible for upkeep. I assume the insurance is included as well.
Because we did ask them about insurance a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
We might want to go,
I'll revisit it. I mean, the main thing is that it gets onto the asset list, and then as part of our risk policy and risk management, that's non-guidance, and then I'll just make sure that.
I'm sure we've been there before, and certainly they do the maintenance.
Thank you.
thank you. 11D is to agree reserves allocation in line with the reserves policy. This is because we put out a reserves paper, which we agreed that we approved alongside the budget each year. And that paper went out to you, I think, last month, actually. Any issues about that particular paper?
No.
I think I tried to take on board the points that John made way back when we looked at the paper, John. I think I used some terminology. And we have now put the money that the PCC gave to the parish council. We put that into a separate bank account, so that is identifiable.
Yeah.
Is that correct, Dave?
Yeah.
Okay. You all right with that? Does that cover it?
That's fine, sorry, I'm going on to the next bit.
Okay. Yeah. We're talking about the need for the defibrillator, which is located on the walls in Village Hall, to actually have some new pads, and you've been getting some quotes on that.
Yes,
And I think we're struggling to find it, right?
yes. The option is we go with the people that supplied us last time for the cheaper option. And it's just, I'm gonna go, I think it's like £20 difference. Can you guys remember? I've got some on this today, last night.
What's the difference?
One is £50, and one is 80, I think.
So the last one quoted is £52.50 excluding VAT, so £63 including VAT, and the other one is £44 including VAT, but excluding delivery, so another £5–10 on top. So probably there's £10 in it with delivery.
So
What's the difference?
who did we use last time?
So last time we used a company called DFib Shop, and That's the £63 all inclusive. DFIB store is £44, but delivery would be extra, so £15.
I think we should go with more expensive.
Are you happy for me to go with whichever one can deliver it fastest? Because it desperately needs to be resolved because they're out of date and therefore it's fallen off of the,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
it's fallen off of the radar. So for the sake of the town, I should.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
Because there's somebody in Wootton, isn't there, who just.
Yes, I've spoken, that's.
And
who's
who
got me
do
the quotes
they
and
use?
things. So he got me the quotes and said he just, they're all fine, they're all the same defib pads.
But which do they use in Wootton, is my question.
I don't know which one.
Okay.
Can you shed any light on that, councillor, or not? Which, all the defibrillators in Wootton, do you know?
They're all under the guidance, Chair, of Dr. David Owen, who lives in Kingswood, who advised on the location, and I think certainly at least 12 of them, there's 15 in Wootton now. I could give the clerk his contact.
I've been speaking to David, it's David.
Okay,
So who did David recommend?
So he is just working on the principle, keep it simple. Supplier last time was defib shop, and he's given me a quote, link to their website. And the website's quoting £52.50 excluding VAT, £63 including VAT and delivery.
So I'd like to propose we stay with that.
So the previous supplier.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. We're all happy with that?
Dr. Owen used to provide that service, Chair, but I think he doesn't do it anymore.
Okay,
Right,
But he was still advised we should do it.
thank you.
thank you.
He has said that he'll come and fit them to do it all
Well,
for
that's
me.
good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay,
That's okay, so we'll just put it on.
report from item 12, report on the cemetery from the burial clerk. We had a brief report from Jean. There wasn't much to report, except the normal things.
Yes, the mole is actually, well, I'm busy with more than mole, but it's getting around quite a lot of the cemetery there, all of a sudden. So, do we contact Ken Brown to get his colour?
Yeah. It's quite successful in the past.
Yeah, can you do that?
Yeah.
You want me to do that? Would you do that?
Yeah.
Please.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
There are a few rabbits to use as well, but I'm not seeing any rabbits.
Thank you. Item 13, receive a written full report from the clerk noting any matters arising from January's meeting not covered by agenda items. We set this right.
Yeah, you will have me with that, any questions?
Yeah.
Happy with that?
Yeah.
Thank you. So, on to 514, update including actions on some matters from previous meetings. Tim, how about, I think we made good progress on this, haven't we?
Well, I mean, I haven't,
Well,
but other people have. Yeah, so, yeah, the outbox is now being finished, which is great. And Peter, the parishioner who's been working on this for us, I believe has been in contact with you, Dave, or?
Yeah, I met him at the cemetery and we agreed on the tree to put it on.
Good.
And I saw the box, it's very extremely solid. And I asked him if it was he insured to put it up, and he said that he is insured, yes, because he does a lot of third reading and things like that. But he'll need at least a couple of people to help him put it up.
Right. Do we have and we're going to try and link that in with the school, aren't we?
Well, yeah, I don't know. Did you see my email I sent Ryan a week ago? I don't know what people.
I did, but I can't remember.
Okay, no, it's all right. So about a week ago, I emailed everyone with a suggestion. I don't know how people felt about it. So I wondered whether we could ask Peter to go to the school with the box to show the box. I didn't know, I don't know her well enough, but there's certainly someone who used to live in the parish who is very into birds of prey and things. Whether she might, whether she might be keen to get involved in some way, and that might be something the school might be interested in. I don't know how much time she had. But,
It was a very successful meeting here, wasn't
Yeah.
there? And then she's been doing quite a few things down at Debbie and Walter Ely,
Yeah.
hasn't she? Yeah, she's really.
So I don't know, she may be keen and their school might be keen. 'Cause I was thinking maybe there's something the school could be interested in.
Yeah.
And then from that, whether there is a way of getting the children involved, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how high it needs to be and the tree and.
Well, it's got to be 18 foot above the ground.
So 6 meters. So, okay. So, I mean, that may or may not be as easy to do, but we could certainly, I think, the trouble I've got is I'm a teacher myself, and so when the kids are around,
I understand.
you know, I wouldn't be able to go to an assembly, and you know, if it was on a Saturday or something, then we could organise something.
Does this lady charge for owl display or whatever she does?
I would imagine so.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know what, you know, no harm in asking
But
someone.
it might be something, just even if it's just a case of getting children involved, and then the school decide to keep an eye on our boxes and do reports and walk up there once a month or whatever. Rather than be involved in putting it up.
Perhaps we need to ask the school.
But yeah,
Could we ask somebody like, Food Keepers to put it up for us? I mean, he will be sure to go up. Yeah, he's done work for us.
Who's that? Sorry.
Spirit. Maybe.
Well, Peter's going to put it up. He's already said it.
He's gonna put up more the ladder, 80 feet.
No, he's got climbing equipment to do
Okay,
it.
fine.
He's all geared up to doing it.
So it's really about how we engage the school.
Yes.
Perhaps we need to ask the school, do they want to be engaged?
Yeah.
Perhaps that's something we need, somebody needs to approach the head.
Do you want
Shall
to
I-
write to Paul at all? Do you want to?
Shall I contact him?
Yeah.
Because they might say, well, nice idea, but
Yeah, too busy.
And if they are,
no, thank you.
and if they are interested, we need to get a costume from the town lady.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll get some discussion going on that. Thank you for everything done. Do you have to pay for that box? Have we?
So, yes, you could probably now give us a final receipt for it.
Can
Yeah, I'll test them.
Can you
Yeah,
get that?
yeah.
Demanded, please?
Yeah.
Okay. 14B is NDP. Any further developments to report on that too?
No, not really. Only obviously Barbara Pond had been in contact and was you know, keen and happy to meet with us. There's been no further development with Horsley or Longford at the moment. Horsley had suggested would they like some of us to meet the chap's name if I'd forgotten. But I don't know if it's appropriate for all of us. I think probably if we meet and then as part of the document or report that at some point, you know, I provide the information in there, you know, is part of what that meeting was really.
Okay.
Otherwise, I think we'll end up spending too much time on when I could just summarise it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So will you go back to Barbara or do you want me to go back to Barbara about attending our meeting in April?
So if I can go, well, one of us, I mean, so
I'm
we'll
quite
go back
happy to
to,
do it.
either way, I mean, I can go back to Barbara or the people I'm working with.
Well, I've dealt with Barbara before, so I'm quite happy.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go back to Barbara, invite her hopefully she'll be able to come to that meeting
Yeah.
in April.
On the sixth, yeah,
And if not, we'll have to think of plan B on that.
yeah.
So
Sounds good.
I'll do that in the next couple of days. I'll ring GLC and speak to them.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
So, no, well, it's not me, it's people helping me. So. Yeah,
Okay. Item C, notice boards. I sent you a copy of the quote. I was trying to get it up on my phone just now, but unfortunately I can't. We've had a quote from Green Barnes, and I did send this around to you all, I believe. And I'm going to need to get that code on the wall again, sorry.
have you still got the,
No, I'll put it back on the wall. No, we need to approve it, that's the thing. Because it's going to. You recall the last meeting, we discussed this, and we said, thanks, Tim. We said this time we'd like to have one where half of it was open, closed for the parish council, and half of it was open, so that parish organisations could put notices in there. This is the parish notice board to go to replace the one that's out now.
Yeah.
It's by the same people who've done the one down at the village hall, sorry, the village hub, and we were quite impressed with the quality of it and quality of service. The quote is 1,500 and something plus VAT. One thing it doesn't have is, you call Mandy said, was it possible to have solar lights? Now, what I did went back to is point out was that this particular firm experimented with solar lights and all the ones they had failed. It's something to do with vehicle lights, so vehicles going by and causing a problem. So they've actually stopped making those solar lights.
Yeah, I mean, it's very easy to put a simple one from Amazon, and they're excellent, really, it's no problem whatsoever. So if we can do it after.
So Dave suggested we do something after. We do need to get the details, I'm sorry about this. Just Green Barnes.
So many conversations between you and David about the lights.
Those are all on that particular. What's your recommendation? My recommendation, well, the figure is £1,503 plus VAT. I say plus VAT because the council will get VAT back eventually. My recommendation is we go for it because it's made of the same quality material as the one by the hub. The locking bit of that is excellent. Everything about the construction is good. And the after sales service was good as well, Dave, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think they use recycled stuff to make the plastic or whatever it's made of.
Yeah.
They use recycled material.
So my recommendation would be we go with that because it would be.
Support that recommendation.
Yeah, I agree.
Anybody,
now, only at what point do we need to kind of get a number of different quotes?
we don't need to for this particular purpose, we checked that out before.
So is there a minimum amount? Because often, yeah, I said it in school, there's
Yeah, very,
a certain amount, beyond that, we then,
no, we're okay on this particular amount as far as I can recall. Because we did this when we bought the other one, what, 2-3 years ago?
2.5
2.5 years
years.
ago. I think it's 5 actually.
We went through several we got several quotes,
Yeah.
and that one was by far the best quality.
Yeah, we were just signing it off and I joined the council. Way back when. So are you proposing that Yeah.
Well, I think, well, I personally would want to check what is our expectations in terms of what we've got written down in policy.
We don't actually have a policy on purpose, just we have an obligation in a certain, budget. This comes within that budget, that's my understanding of the situation.
Yeah, there is something in the financial regulations actually. There's a figure which we have to get funds.
But we will have done that with the other one anyway. And
We did do that, we did do that.
no point being worth repeating it.
My proposal, we purchase this one, please, that's my proposal, as it will be under the requirement for they quote for percentage. So my proposal is that we take references suggestion and we buy this. No second.
But what I'm asking then is, what is that amount? And
We need to look at financial regulations. Okay, we do that.
I just don't want to say the figure in my head and be wrong. So
No,
I think
no.
it's-
It's okay.
An amendment to my proposal, Chair.
We're just checking at the moment. Just checking.
It's on the
Yeah,
website.
yeah, I've just done it on the website now, just to remind myself.
I'm just trying.
We'll just look at oral tax.
Chair, could I delay just to ask how long, you know, when you replace it, how long does that last?
That has been repaired at least twice in my knowledge. And it was certainly there when I took over as clerk in 2008.
Oh, right, just asking one time.
It's
It's like repair a number of times.
it's
It's
been
like a
repaired.
brush, it's the same brush, but we've had six handles and 4 ends.
That's the one.
yeah, so it's, I found it says, the clerk or responsible officer shall obtain 3 quotations, price descriptions of the proposal apply, where the value is below 5,000 and above 100, the clerk shall strive to obtain 3 estimates.
Well, we certainly did that on the previous one. Green barns were actually recommended by other parish councils in the area, and certainly our experience was positive.
You couldn't get anything as good.
Okay,
from it.
so if it's in our, as Pat has pointed out, it's written in our regulations that I should strive to get 3 quotes before we go ahead. This is a new notice board, it's not the same one that we had before. I'll go get a couple of quotes and come back and revisit it.
Okay.
I'm not trying to be difficult, it's just
No,
that
you're right.
Mandy's the responsible finance, and so ultimately, she's responsible if someone was to afterwards.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I
Raise
did,
this.
I did get one other quote from another firm, which was more in my recollection, but
That's fine.
I didn't get, certainly didn't get
Yeah.
through.
No worries, it's fine.
I'll give you details of this quote when I get home. Okay. And road safety, I don't think there's anything to report on that. We've already had a discussion, I think, on that. Councillor Curry. And verbal reports from parish councillors, please. Can I start with you, Dave? What about
Can't think of anything I've already spoken about.
Can I just say that this is related area to that I've had a couple of approaches from parishioners saying that piece of pathway down here, the hedgerow is not improved. I know that you were involved in that, I know Mandy was involved in that, and so obviously the householders.
Down to John now.
John was involved as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
The high holders were just aware that they needed to get done and were struggling with.
So I've had some very positive feedback from at least a couple of different parishioners on that. Anything to report? Anything to report?
No, so the other box is the NDP and
Okay.
the playground we've done.
Anything further on guessing dates?
well, the article didn't go in on the edge. Turned out nothing beyond the question.
Okay, thank you. Well, the final issue is really, is very much a one of business issues before starting confidence issue. You recall we had, councillors, we had a Zoom meeting to discuss the clerk's terms and conditions of employment. And we made some proposals on that. I said some minutes after that. And I am now going to propose that we implement that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You all in agreement, right? Formally document that, Monday.
Yeah.
And you've got details of that. Thank you very much. And the next meeting of the parish council will be, it's not on the 7th of February, is it? It's the 7th of March.
Yes. Copy of dates.
Copy and paste, yeah. So thank you very much. Thank you, councillor.
Thank you.
Very well. Before you go, Ken, can I have a quick word? Yeah.